good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is Debauchery. So today it's Rock and Roll Road Stories with Brad Example, episode 3, the finale, the last one. This is the it. We're going to be talking about rock and roll today. So let's kick it off with a song by Brad Example, The Angry Lullaby. Yes. Brad Example. Angry Lullaby.
Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey. We're just talking over the top of each other today. Fucking I never noticed how distorted that fade out is.
Yeah, it's cool, eh?
Yeah,
Dave played piano and guitar on it and blended them together somehow really well.
It's kind of annoying, but I like annoying.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
I like that sound.
Annoying's nice. What's happening, everybody? This is our last episode of this silly little series here. We did 3 of them.
Three.
We're
sex, drugs, and now rock and roll.
Rock and roll today. That's what we're talking about. So if you missed the others, I'll put them into a playlist. I should have already done that, but I'll do that.
Yeah, we've been busy.
Whenever there's time, man. Can we get some time?
We're just hanging out and having a good time. Like this has been
having a good time.
This has been the best vacation of my life. We watched Severance last night. Confused as hell, but good God, was that a good show?
Anyone a Severance fan?
Yeah,
wow, what an ending to season 2.
Yeah, wow.
I'd like to hear people's theories. Well, not without giving it away too, because you shouldn't give it away in the chat. Don't do that. Give it away. Give it away. Give it away now. Don't do that shit because it ruins it for everybody.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about rock and roll stuff. We've got 2 hours to hang out with you all, and we've got some music to play before we head off today for a secret location.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild day today.
Yeah,
I'm going to feel it in the morning.
You will?
Oh, I will.
I'm not drinking a lot, trust me. So we're actually going out after this to a secret location to meet up with some people, Cold Acre and some people. And then you're not going to want to miss Laurie's Friday night weekend, whatever it's fucking called.
Weekend hang.
It's Friday hang.
Yeah, Friday hang.
Friday hang. Because
hanging and dangling.
We will be appearing live from a secret location here in Australia with some other Aussies doing a bit of an Aussie meetup.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm excited.
Are you really excited for the train trip?
Well, not the train trip. That's going to suck balls, but the Uber ride home will be fine. And plus, I'll have enough drinks in me by the time I get off the train that I won't hurt as much.
Just please don't make it so I have to carry you.
No, you won't have to carry me.
All right, cool. I don't want to carry you.
I just have to pee a lot.
Well, you're not peeing on me.
No, no.
So that is not happening. Yes. So let's say hello to folks. You want to do the honors, Brad?
Yeah. Cold Acre, gonna see you. Pain to get. Feisty. Ali, great to see you. Hugh, awesome to see you. Costa, great to see you. E. Urban. Who else is here? Hugh Caldwell. Leela, of course. Lovely Leela. Mm-hmm. Lovely Leela, meet a maid. Yeah. Mateus is here. Doug Kidder, good to see you, buddy. Right on.
It's Z.
Ed, awesome to see you.
Who else?
I always love when Ed pops into Clubhouse. He's always, he's always doing something that's interesting.
Listen, Cold Acre, nobody's matching you drink for drink. We're not fucking.
I don't drink that much.
Listen, we're not built that way, dude. You win.
Yeah,
all right, you already win.
You're
right?
the winner.
It's okay, mate.
But we'll see how well I do today.
Normally, my drink ratio to Cold Acres when we hang out is he's 3 to me 1.
Yeah,
and I don't drink that slow.
Yeah, and I'm not a beer drinker. I don't drink beer.
Well, there's not just beer where we're going.
I drink rye, so.
Well, all right, awesome. So you'll be drinking rye today.
Yeah, beer hurts going down for some reason. Awesome. It feels like cement for some reason. It hurts my
going down.
chest. Yeah,
right.
So I started drinking rye and Cokes, and that's what I've been drinking since I was about 17.
So I guess we should start talking shit.
Yeah. Yeah, where do we start?
Balls.
I don't even know where to start.
Balls. It's all right. I'll kick it off. Do you remember what's the best drink rider you've ever had at a gig, Brad?
Oh, drink rider. Okay, so we played this outdoor festival with like Kim Mitchell and War and the guys who sing Lowrider, all these big bands. So we get there early in the morning because we're going on at like 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And we go to the lady. We have a tent outside, and we say to the lady, the backstage management lady, we'd like our booze that's on our rider, which was 2 bottles of rye and
that's good,
and 2 bottles of Coke. And she goes,
only 2 bottles of Coke for 2 bottles of rye.
Well, 2 big 2-liter bottles.
That's still not enough.
Well, yeah, we were drinking it. Well, anyway, listen to what happened.
Yeah.
So she says, we've been explicitly told not to give you guys any booze until a half hour before your show. So we were like, no, fuck that. We want our booze and we want it now. We're not playing at all. So, and this is at like 11 in the morning. So finally, after a little bit of squabbling, she brings us the 2 bottles of rye, like big 60-pounders of Canadian Club, like a lot of booze. And she says, but we're not going to give you any mix. I'm like, you're making a huge mistake right now. This is a huge mistake. So sure enough, we get the booze, no mix. We start drinking the rye straight out of the bottle at 11 in the morning. By about 1 o'clock, I was puking behind the tent while I was peeing with a new girlfriend rubbing my back saying, you know, you're going to be okay. You guys are going to be fine. I'm trying to take all my clothes off before I even get on stage, still an hour before stage. And I'm trying to get naked because I was so hammered. I forgot where I was. We ended up doing the show and it ended up being awesome. And it was a lot of fun. But we were all super hammered because she wouldn't give us any mix. But usually we would get because we were sponsored by the Jägermeister, we could drink all the egg we wanted and we'd get as many drinks as we wanted. Because we would make the bar a fortune, like we were a drinking band. And on a lot of the posters going across the country, they would put on the posters, not by our design, by their own design, the hardest drinking band in Canada. Big letters on the top, InnerCity Surfers live at this club in Kingston or Kitchener or Sudbury or wherever, Halifax or wherever we were playing. So word would spread as we crossed the country. Like, these guys are crazy. They drink like crazy. And then we'd get the crowd to drink because we'd have this joke all the time where I'd say every day is Saturday. So whenever I'd get on stage, even if it was a Tuesday night, I'd say, hey, welcome everybody. Thank God it's Saturday. So we would drink like it's Saturday because people had to work in the morning and didn't want to party until I would instigate them and goad them into thinking it was fuck it, it's Saturday, let's get hammered. And the bar would do well, so they loved us.
Right.
Yeah.
So
all the booze you can drink, really.
Well,
and I used to say on stage, we do this big opening thing, this big E, and I'll say into the mic, if someone doesn't bring up a tray of shots, I'm going to quit the band right now. So then I'd stand there and not play my bass and wait for a tray of shots to come to the stage, or else I'd quit the band. So people would generally bring a tray of shots.
Right. So you held the audience hostage.
Yeah. Or I was going to quit the band right there on stage.
Right.
I did that every night. Every single night I'd do that.
All right. Let's see. Let me pull it. So we're talking about riders here. So there used to be this pub in Richmond. I don't know if it still exists. Probably does. Here it is here. This is the Richmond Club Hotel. Look at that place. Doesn't it look nice and inviting from the outside? Anyway, they used to hold metal gigs there. I don't know if they still do. Anyway, they used to be run by this guy. Steve was the promoter of the Richmond Club. And if you're a young metal band, you know, there was back in the day, we're talking, 90s here. There was plenty of places to play in Melbourne, plenty of venues. Melbourne was the place to play in Australia. And
it's a big city. I didn't realize how big it was and how many bands there must be here.
Well, we got the best. The thing was, we had the best scene for gigs because every venue had live bands. Where Sydney had been filled with poker machines, slot machines for those in the US, so they all got filled with slot machines and individual guitarists just doing covers. That had really swept Sydney, but Melbourne remained true and had a really thriving band scene. So many venues, even across the road from this fucking hotel right here, there's a pub called the Corner Hotel, which has hosted really big acts from overseas. It's not only just local bands. Anyway, this place, the Richmond Club, this guy Steve, and he was super dodge guy, and he'd always promise you the world and we had a residency there in Despised. We got a residency, and he'd offered us a slab of cans and $200 a show for 4 weeks.
Nice.
So I think it was every Thursday night for 4 weeks. So to us, that was like, fuck, man, that's $800.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
And a slab of cans.
Yeah,
so,
for a new band, that's really, really
yeah,
good.
well, we'd been around for a while.
Yeah,
We'd been playing there for a year and a half kind of thing.
Yeah.
We started out doing Tuesday nights kind of thing, you know what I mean? You always got to start in the shit pit.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he promised us this residency, and we fucking were so excited. We did heaps of advertising. We got really cool bands to open for us, like Budfish, and just really cool, interesting bands that are kind of similar to our style. Yeah, a slab of cans is 24 cans for those in the US, UK, or a carton. We call it a slab. And thanks, Coldacre. Anyway, we did the first gig and went to go get our money at the end, and he wouldn't pay us.
Oy.
Yeah. He offered us acid trips instead.
Well, I would have taken the trips.
No, see, the problem was, here's the problem, right? I was a massive tripper.
Yeah.
Right? And we'd all started doing acid trips. So shit was like, it was not healthy to give us a whole bunch of acid trips because the idea is to convert that into money to go back into the band. That's why you play shows.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first kind of gig we were like overlooked it and went, yeah, you know what? We can probably sell these. We sold half of them, which was pretty good. The rest we swallowed.
Yeah.
The second gig, acid trips again. The third gig, I don't even have any acid trips. The fourth gig, I don't even have the cans of beer for you. I can't pay you anything. And it was about 3 weeks after that, that guy was gone, and the doors had been shut down. There'd been wood boards put over the doors. I think he did a midnight runner and screwed everybody. So I'm guessing, you know, we were the small fry in that thing, so we only lost like, you know, probably what, $800 and some cans of beer, but I'll bet there were other bands that lost heaps more.
Yeah.
And of course, staff and all that kind of stuff. That was a really common thing here in Melbourne. I don't know. Did you have a lot of dodgy promoters that would fly by night promoters?
I sold cocaine for a long time. I was a drug dealer in my early 20s, and I met a promoter in Toronto who was like, he was the biggest promoter in Toronto. I won't say his name, but everybody knows who he is. In Now Magazine, he was voted best promoter and worst promoter.
Right.
So he got both accreditations, I guess. So anyways, I met him, and he started putting us on Monday nights at the Alma Combo, which is a very famous club. The Rolling Stones played there. The Cult played there. Lots of big bands played there, it's like a legendary club in Toronto that's been there for 75 years, and rock and roll has been there every night for the last 75 years. So anyway, before they renovated it and sold it and renovated it, we ended up playing. We started on Monday nights, and then we started to get more and more popular and started to get Friday and Saturday nights. And then we got to kind of put on our own shows on the weekends and have our own bands open and pick bands that we like to open. So we would always get paid. We'd always get our money. We'd always get free drinks because he knew, like, we also took the door. So we made a deal. We take the door, you get the bar, but we're going to make sure that your bar receipt at the end of the night is going to be bigger than you've ever seen it. So we got the crowd drinking because we were a drinking band. So we played a lot of drinking songs that would get people in the mood to drink. So they would just flood the bar, people buying drinks left and right constantly. And then there's me on stage screaming and yelling at the crowd to bring me drinks. So there's people out in the crowd buying drinks for the band and bringing them to the stage. So, and we did that for years. We played at the Alma Combo for years. The Alma Combo is a really famous club in Toronto, probably Canada's most famous rock and roll club. Besides Lee's Palace, maybe it's a mix like Lee's, the Opera House, and the Alma Combo.
Hello, Pete. And
hey, Pete.
Falcro.
Hey, Falcro. Good to see you, buddy.
Sorry, I have a really shit cough at the moment.
Yeah, so we used to play a lot at those clubs and did well. And I remember one time I got to meet one of my idols. We were playing Lee's Palace, and or no, we weren't playing Lee's Palace. We were there to see a band play, Sabado play, and I'm standing outside talking to the bass player, Jason Lowenstein, and my car was parked right in front of Lee's Palace. And as I'm talking to him, I'm saying, yeah, I play in a band too. And, you know, you guys were really influential on me. Like, you guys have been my favorite band since high school. Just as I was telling him that, one of our songs came on the radio. So I was like, oh my God, listen, that's us. This is us on the radio. It was a really exciting little moment for me. It was pretty cool.
Awesome. Hello, Tremor Bear. Welcome
Hey,
aboard
Tremor Bear.
as well. What's one of the most fucked up things you've done on stage?
Oh, that's kind of easy. There was we used to play at this club called the Hideout, which was owned by our two buddies, the Good Brothers. They were from Ireland. They were Irish, and they were crazy. Jamesons all night long, like shots of Jamesons. I couldn't even drink one without another one getting handed to me. Like, they would fill us full of booze like you wouldn't believe. So anyway, we had come in that day to load in, and Dan and Jimmy were saying, yeah, we're going to knock this wall down. We're going to push the kitchen back a few feet, and we're going to make the stage bigger and turn it to the other side. I said, oh, when are you going to do that? They're like, oh, well, probably next month we're going to start doing that. So as the night progressed, I got naked. I was super hammered. I went down into the washroom. I ended up doing a bunch of bumps off somebody's keys, came back upstairs, and the band is playing the same thing they always played whenever I left to go pee. The dun, 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 like that. And I get on stage, and Jimmy hands me a fucking sledgehammer. And I go, what do you want me to do with this? He's like, take down the wall. So I just, totally naked with a sledgehammer, just started smashing this wall behind the stage. I smashed it, and I'm hanging off of it, like 4 feet off the ground with the sledgehammer stuck in the wall. And I'm smashing this wall down halfway through a surfer show. Totally wrecked out of my mind, like wrecked. Yeah, that was the craziest thing I ever did, I think, was take a wall down during a show, renovate a bar during a show.
Did they fuck you over for that?
No, they loved it. They were fucking cheering me on. Like, they loved it. They loved every minute of it. They wanted the wall taken down. They knew I was so coked up and so pissed that I would just go nuts, and I went nuts. I just smashed 1,000 holes in the wall, and there was drywall all over everything, and it was crazy. It was friggin' crazy. And that was the same night that I was playing naked, and this girl comes. I see her, like, I catch her, like, beelining it for the stage. And I'm thinking, why is this girl walking so fast towards the stage? Because usually people come to the front and they just stand there. But this girl was beelining it for some reason. So she gets, and I'm up at the front of the stage singing, and she reaches under my bass, grabs my ding-dong, and starts pulling on it. And I go, what are you doing? It's not a bell. She goes, I just wanted to see if it was real. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking real. It's attached to me. Don't pull on it.
It's not a bell.
It's not a bell. She was tugging on it, like pulling it like she was ringing a bell.
You can ring my bell.
I actually ended up fucking her in the broom closet on the side of the stage. There was a little gross broom closet. I ended up having sex with her in there. In between sets. It was good.
Of course.
It was good for me. I mean, I don't know how she felt about it, but it was good for me.
We'll go through a couple of these stories, I think, because I got a few across different bands. We did an all-ages gig at the Corner Hotel in Despised. All ages, mind you. So if you don't know what all-ages gig is, it's underage. Kids can come. There's no alcohol served, but over 18s can come as well, too. So all ages. I can't remember all the bands playing. It was a pretty big Melbourne kind of Saturday that went on for there's probably about 15 bands. They used to do these all the time when I was young anyway. I don't know if they do them these days. I guess they do. Who knows? Anyway, we knew that Beat Magazine was going to be there. Beat Magazine's like an independent press. You all have them. They dump them outside of record shops and stuff, free press, music press. Anyway, I knew they were going to be there, and I decided to pull out a machete halfway through one of the songs and slice my arm open.
Oh.
And just drag it across my arm, and there was blood everywhere. I wouldn't do it these days with my blood condition because I'd probably bleed for fucking days. But
no.
Back then, I remember how terrified everybody was when I did that.
Yeah, I had a friend that used to cut himself on stage while singing a song called "I Have AIDS," and he would slice himself with a broken beer bottle all across his chest and bleed everywhere, screaming, "I have AIDS!" Band was called Fist Magnet. They were awesome.
They wrote that I was. I probably had. There was a review for the gig. I remember reading it. And it said that I was the new out of my mind singer since Smear from Depression. If you're an Aussie and you love metal and punk and all that stuff, Depression were a massive band here in Australia. And Smear was the singer of the band, and they were pretty fucking outrageous for their time. So to get compared for me at like fucking such a young age to be like, oh, fuck, really? I was pretty happy with that.
So we had a review once, and the lady that wrote the review said I looked like Christian Bale. She was like, and the bass player looks exactly like the guy who plays Batman, Christian Bale.
Or American Psycho.
And we were all like, what the fuck? I don't look like that guy. I don't think I look like him. Why did this lady think I looked like Christian Bale? I don't know. I don't know. She loved the band, loved everything about it, but said I look like Christian Bale. That's the one thing that stuck in my mind all these years.
So you would have played all ages gigs as well,
did.
too?
We would do.
You didn't go nude. You didn't do nude.
No,
for that,
I wouldn't play naked for all ages shows.
All right, cool.
But we would do them very rarely. We only did like. We would do all ages shows rarely.
Really?
But we would
Why?
do them at because we were a drinking band, an all night drinking band. So we would usually play all night long and drink all night long. And
right.
So we were more geared towards people that were 19 and up. But we would also do all ages shows. So we do when we go to the Sioux to make more money. We would take the door, charge $10 a ticket. We'd start the show at 6:00. And then end the show by 10:30, and then our show would start, like our bar show would start at 11, and then we'd play from 11 till 2, and we'd take breaks in between and do sets and do all that kind of shit, and have opening bands. If we had an opening band, we'd just play one set. If it was just us, we'd play 3, and that's just how we did it. But we did. There was actually my girlfriend and another girl got in a fist fight during one of our all ages shows. She just walked up to her and punched her, and then there was a big punch on in the middle of this all ages show. And my girlfriend had lost, her mother had passed away, and she had lost her necklace. And I yelled into the microphone, somebody please look around for this necklace. There was a big pit in the front of the stage. Everybody cleared this dance floor and found her diamond necklace. It was unbelievable. And the girl ended up dying, so... Yeah. Yeah. Thank God for that.
Appropriate sound effect right there. Not really. Let's talk about FM. I'm going to talk about some FMC gigs, because that's where all the trouble started for me.
Yeah, you guys were wild.
We got banned from 7 clubs in FMC. 7 clubs. And I'm very proud of that, because... You know what? Fucking at the time, I don't know. Everything was kind of shocking, but not. Like, we started FMC to be a fuck you to not only like music in general, but a fuck you to the metal scene, because it had got so, I don't know, it got so predictable and, I don't know. It was boring.
Yeah, there just had to be something to break out. Yeah. And you guys had to be that.
Plus, if you know the story, FMC started out as another band called Filth, and we got a singer, this dude singing in the band, and I pretty much wrote everything, and the guy was an absolute fucking tit. So I just got out of the band. I just said, hey, you can keep the band because you're a loser. And my replacement was Cold Acre. Cold Acre replaced me in that band.
Oh, wow.
And
I kind of remember hearing that.
that's how we know each other. But I went on to form FMC. Anyway, every gig FMC did was completely different. Like we did shows where we set up a dining table. And we didn't even play any instruments. We just ate dinner while our CD played in the background.
That's amazing.
And we just ate dinner for 40 minutes around a table, and we just ate and had arguments. We did an all boy band show where we turned all our songs into like boy band remixes at a place called what was it? Deviate, is this like goth venue. They used to call it 3 Stories of Hell. And they'd have all these fucking metal bands, and on the top floor they'd have... Anyway, they booked FMC. I don't think they realised what they were getting themselves into. And we did a boy band remix of all our songs. Anyway, this one gig, we got booked to go to Adelaide, and I was working as a baker at the time. And I thought in my head it would be a really good idea to bake some penis bread rolls. So my boss let me do it, and I shaped a whole bunch of cocks and balls and added the balls to the cocks, cooked them all in the oven, and then they gave us a big brown paper bag full of these fucking cock and ball bread rolls. And we jumped in our van and we went on tour, fucking huge drive, like 12-hour drive or whatever to Adelaide. And we rolled into Adelaide. There's so many layers to this story. We rolled into Adelaide and we got on Adelaide radio. Just generic, top 40 hits, Adelaide radio. And the guy on the radio was saying, if you know of any cool shows coming up this weekend, give us a buzz and let us know. And we were like, fuck, do you want to call them and tell them we're in FMC and we're coming from Melbourne to Adelaide? And we called and we actually got on the air. And we're like, fucking, oh my God, we're next. They're going to like speak to us live on the air. And the dude comes on and he's like, hey, we've got band members from FMC. And we're like, yeah, we're here from Melbourne. We're just cruising into Adelaide right now. It's very exciting. We can't wait. And he's like, oh, would you like to choose a song to play? And we're like, yeah, we built this city on rock and roll. And he hung up the call, played We Built This City on Rock and Roll, while all of us were in the van clutching penis bread rolls, chewing them, doing we thought we were in Wayne's World.
That's awesome.
And but anyway, we get to the gig, we play the gig, and here's the reason we bought the bread rolls. We wanted to see if we could coax an entire metal audience to willingly take a bunch of penis bread rolls during our set and eat them. And just to see that from the stage, to look down into the audience and see a bunch of big metalheads all with their Cooper's beers in Adelaide chewing on dicks. That's what we wanted to see.
That's awesome.
So we did it. Halfway through the set, we pulled out the bread rolls. We go, who wants an official FMC bread roll? And I got all this on video too, so I'll get it off the VHS and play it at some stage. We handed out all these bread rolls. And you should see the scene. These guys chewing the head off these fucking bread dicks. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And then me stupidly went, look at you all chewing on cock. And then one guy didn't take nicely to it. So he climbed up on stage and punched me in the fucking head.
Oh, no.
Knocked me the fuck down. And then the funny thing was everybody jumped in and started punching the fuck out of him while they were chewing big dicks.
That's amazing.
It was the best. And I don't know. It was worth taking a punch, I think. I got punched a bunch of times in FMC, probably for calling people pedos on stage and stuff. But hey, what are you going to do? You come to an FMC show, that's what you get.
Yeah, oddly, I never got punched on stage, which is...
Did you cause any fights?
Yeah, there were a few fights in the audience, especially when we went to a town called Hamilton. There was always a fight in the crowd in Hamilton for some reason. I don't know why. But we used to have a merch girl. I bought a blow-up doll, the cheapest blow-up doll you could get. So all the plastic seams were everywhere, and it was like really gross and brutal. But I bought this blow-up doll, blew her up, dressed her in InnerCity Surfers merch, and we would put her behind the merch booth at our shows, and she would be basically our merch girl. So we were doing an all ages show, and this kid took his skateboard and he was skateboarding around the pit with this blow-up doll, and he was like my buddy's son, and he was really young at the time. He might have been like 12 or 13 years old, skateboarding, basically dancing with this blow-up doll, skateboarding around this venue. We got that on tape somewhere. It's unbelievable. It was unbelievable. We were like, oh my God, we got to get that blow-up doll away from that kid. That's not, she's like,
So
it was bad.
I saw a gig once of this band Blood Duster here in Melbourne. They had blow-up dolls filled with helium.
Oh, awesome.
So they were just floating throughout the venue.
We should have done that. I wish we would have thought of that.
Brilliant. The best idea. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody else do anything like that before. It was very, very funny. We did a gig once in Utensils. I'm not going to name the venue, and because this is a bit of a black mark on my name. I got in trouble for this. So we had this brilliant idea. Now, this is way before. Hang on, was it? I think it was after 9/11. So probably that's why it was not such a good idea.
Oh, no.
Was it 2000? I think it was 2002 this happened. I think so. So we did this gig and in Utensils. So Utensils was a 2-person band, and we'd just bring computers up on stage and gear, and we'd essentially just smash the gear while live. So we'd have half the set would be pre-programmed stuff that we put together from our album, and then the second half of the set was just us dismantling all the gear. So old computers and stuff, and we had axes on stage, and we smashed shit up. That's what it was all about. It's something different, something unique. Anyway, we did this gig, and we got a bunch of people involved, and we wanted to take the venue hostage.
Oh, no.
And you know when you're young, well, I wasn't that young. I was like 30. You get these ideas and think, oh, man, nobody's done this before, have they? Fucking let's do this. And you just think, it's a Friday night. No, this isn't going to be a problem. So basically, we got some friends involved in it. We got them balaclavas. We got fake guns. And halfway through the set, in came our friends. And they came into the venue. And because we knew the venue really well. We actually had played at this venue for many, many years. I even lived there. And we knew where all the locks were on the doors. So they had bolt-down locks. And, they all came in, shut the doors and put the bolt-down locks, came in with the guns, go, get on the fucking ground. And we were up on stage too, the two of us with balaclavas on, and we pulled out handguns and went, everybody get down on the fucking ground. And you know what? Everybody did get down on the fucking ground.
Oh, my God, that's
And
freaky.
It went better than how we planned.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And what are we going to do? Like it's happened now, so it's going on. So we kept up with it, and we had somebody, a friend of ours, a chick in the crowd, and we took her hostage, and we pulled her up on stage and put a gun to her head, and yelling down the mic, "If you don't fucking follow our demands, the girl gets it in the head." And unbeknown to us, somebody called the police.
Oh, God.
And anyway,
Did anyone get arrested?
no, we got so they came. And by the time they got there, it had been diffused, and people realised it was part of the show.
Just the show.
But the cops got there, and they weren't very happy because they felt like firstly, I think they felt like their time had been wasted.
Yeah.
They thought their time had been wasted, and there wasn't anything they could do about it. It was classed as performance art. So all we got told really was, next time you might want to tell the promoter of the venue. Because we didn't tell them, because you want to have as much impact as possible, so people actually believe it.
Yeah, you can get away with a lot more when you're in metal bands. You can do crazier shit like that.
Well, yeah, we were an experimental noise band. So I mean, and we
bands.
played lots of art stuff. Like we played a lot of warehouses where there were art exhibitions on and stuff. And so the Utensils was never really a venue kind of thing because we were so performative, and there was always very strange shit going on. But I learned a valuable lesson that day. Not at least, the stupid thing was that we knew the owners really well, so they would have gone along with it anyway. And I thought, here's one of the lines the the other guy in the band yelled out was, we'll let everybody go if everybody in the pub drinks a Foster's Special from the tap. To me, that is one of the fun. And like Cold Acre will think that's funny. That is fucking so. Because here's the joke: nobody drinks Foster's in Australia, right? But everyone else outside thinks we all drink Foster's. And this pub had Foster's on tap, and we used to joke all the time. Nobody fucking drinks that cunt. So one of our lines was, "We'll let the hostage go if you all drink Foster's from the tap." God. And I think that's when the owners understood that was a joke.
Wow.
Did you do anything that involved the police?
No. Actually, we played. There was one night for sure I remember, but I know there were lots of other nights. But one night I remember very distinctly. I was totally naked. I think the whole band was naked at this point. And there were 2 cops at the back of the room, and none of us got arrested. They never gave us a fine for indecent exposure or public nudity or anything. They just stood at the back of the room, checked to make sure the place wasn't over capacity for fire problems, and left. Even the liquor inspector showed up while I was naked once, never said a word. I couldn't get arrested for the life of me. And there were times we kind of wanted it because it would make headlines and we would get newspaper coverage like naked band gets arrested after performance at blah, blah, blah. But it never happened. I never got arrested. The cops never even batted an eye. There was one night we were playing at a club called Sneaky D's in Toronto, and I got naked and the bouncer came over and he was like, "Put your fucking clothes back on right fucking now." I'm like, "No, man, I don't play with clothes on. I play naked." And the bar owner, I could see him running from the back of the room, ran and told the bouncer, no, you let this guy, that's what this guy does, just leave him alone. The bouncer was like, "Fine, it's not on me," and left and let me play the rest of the show naked. When I was in room 206, the only thing we got the whole crowd to do was, I used to do this thing. I'd go, "It's story time." And whenever I said that, everybody in the whole club, and this is back when we used to play at a club called The Princess, and it held about 1,500 people, and we would sell it out almost every second Saturday. And I would get everybody in the room to sit on the floor. And I would and we'd play this little riff, and I'd tell these stories about jocks and like getting beat up by jocks and skateboarders getting chased around by jocks and all this stuff. And then we'd bust into this heavy chorus where I'd scream, "Violence teaches violence." And everybody would jump up and start dancing and slamming and getting in a big pit. And then as soon as the mellow part came back, everybody would sit down again. It was amazing to see all those people doing that. It was amazing. Yeah.
For some reason, Mix Club wants to know what you did with your ding-ding when playing guitar.
Lots of stuff. I would, because my bass, I wear it low. But every once in a while, I'd move my bass out of the way and I'd wiggle it around and flop it up and down and swing it around in circles and flop it back and forth. And just depended on who was at the front. If there were a lot of pretty girls at the front, I'd just keep my bass right to the side and put my foot right up on the monitor so everything was like right in their face.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it was bad. Sometimes I was bad.
Good Lord. That's sexual assault.
Yeah, pretty much was. Yeah, it pretty much was.
You could not do that these days.
No, I don't think we'd get away with half of the shit that we used to get away with.
Yeah, he just hung my cock over some girl's face who paid like $8 to get in.
When Me Too started, we had a joke in the band because somebody said, "Oh, I wanted to fuck her," and everybody in the band went, "Me too." So we started using Me Too as "I want to fuck her, me too."
On that note,
we changed the meaning of it to suit our needs.
Let's play a song on that note. We've got a thing going. If anybody wants to super chat us, we're going to get fucking demonetized.
Any help would be appreciated.
Every one of these have been demonetized for. If you want to send, we've got a little thing going at the moment. You want to send us some bizzo, you can. If you can't, don't bother. It's all good. So let's play this. This is another song. I've been playing these for each on these episodes. This is the last song from the Despised album called My Place. Let's play it. Boom. Boom.
That was awesome. You always had crazy bass players in your bands. You always
That was
had...
the same bass player. She was incredible.
She was awesome.
She was the chick
Holy
everybody
shit.
fucked in the band.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was a mistake. She's a great bass player. And
great bass player.
Just everybody fucked her. It was stupid. Except me.
Hey, Not Visible. Hey, Laurie's Mishmash. Love you. Can't wait to see you tonight. It's going to be fun.
Thank you very much, Wins, for the $5 super chat. And thank you very much, Not Visible. I almost
Not
didn't
Visible.
see it.
Good, right on. Good
Thank you so
man.
much. So that was my old band, Despised, who I played with for many, many years.
So dynamic and so different. Like, your music has always been very eclectic and awesome.
Thank you very much. No one ever knew where to put us.
Yeah,
So
that's the same
it
problem
was-
we had too, but we weren't as like diverse. Like, you guys would change styles during the songs. We just had like a country song and then a punk rock song and then a pop punk song and then a kind of a rock and roll song, and they just were like, what are you guys, a country band? Are you a pop punk band? What are you? We don't know what you are.
So who are some of the bands what's one of the biggest or memorable bands that you got to play with? Support? Or
Well, my favorite obviously is going to be Against Me. That was my favorite. And I wasn't a big fan at that time. I became a fan just before they pulled into town, but we got to do a couple shows with them. And that was my favorite because I loved that band so much that they were, amazing. But I got to play with like Fear Factory and Head P and oh my God, with Thrush Hermit. We did Thrush Hermit's last show, which in Canada is a big deal. That's Joel Plaskett. He's one of Canada's best songwriters. Him and Ron Sexsmith and Sloan are like the best songwriters in Canada, really. So we got to do their final. We did their final 2 shows. Yeah, we got to play with lots of bands. So many I can't even remember them all. The Illuminati, Blast Caps, who we all loved. There was lots of bands, like so many, I can't even remember them all. But the fun thing about remembering these stories is that on the 5th, when I get home from Melbourne, I stay home for 4 days, and then I'm driving to the Sioux, and I'm doing a reunion with my first band, Room 206. We haven't played together in 33 years. That was a band where we would get everybody to sit down. And then right after that, we're doing a surfer show, which will be our 26th anniversary. So it's so a lot of these stories are relevant now because I'm going to be playing with both these bands in the next couple weeks on April 5th.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Sorry, I'm just typing in something. Harbor. Fuck. How do you spell brasserie?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know either. Fuck. I've got to play with heaps of fucking international bands and stuff like that. My favorite gig that I got to do with somebody really cool was in Sydney, and it was this thing called John Zorn's Cobra. Many of you might know who John Zorn is. He is a saxophone player, a writer, very, very extreme jazz kind of player.
Yeah, I know who he is.
He produced the first Mr. Bungle album. He's done many, many collaborations. Jewish saxophone player, very, very all over the place. Played with some of the biggest jazz players in the world. Anyway, he has this game called John Zorn's Cobra. And basically what it is, it travels, so it can be in different countries or wherever. And they gather musicians for a one-night only kind of show, and then they bring all these artists up on stage who've never jammed with each other before, never done anything before together, and you're assigned a color, and the host stands at the front of the stage and holds up colors, and people with those colored armbands or headbands or whatever have to improvise with each other.
Oh, wow.
And you only have a period of time. So it's kind of like,
like musical chairs. But...
yeah, kind of like musical chairs. But anyway, I was lucky enough to perform at the Harbourside Brasserie in Sydney with Trace Bruins from Mr. Bungle, Mike Patton, what's his name, the bass player from Mr. Bungle, Flem, the drummer from Flem. Flem's like a two-piece band, total noisecore. And I got to stand up on stage with Mike Patton next to me and have a microphone battle with Mike Patton.
Oh, wow.
With my own effects rack. He had a massive effects rack. And at one point, it was fucking wild, man. It was both of us just fighting, like having a rap mic battle, but with screaming. And it just was fucking insane.
Oh, that's amazing.
I think I got all my Mr. Bungle CDs signed at that gig as well. There was this band here in Australia called, what was Mantissa? There's this band called Mantissa. Were they called Killing Time? Killing Time. They were called Killing Time, I think. And Killing Time was their original name. And they got really big here in Australia, right? They got super. Hey, Hugh, thank you so much. I just saw that come through.
Hey, right on, Hugh.
Thank you, Hugh, so much. We got one more if you want to get us over the line, and that would be super awesome. So there's this band called Killing Time. They were really rad. They were doing really well, yeah. Anyway, they got signed, and they went overseas and recorded this album. And while they were overseas, they changed their name to Mantissa. Fucking worst name ever.
Yeah,
fucking,
it's not a good name.
Killing Time is a fucking sick name.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's a good name.
They changed their name to Mantissa, and then our management called us in Despised and were like, Mantissa are coming back from the US, and they got their first gig in Australia, and we got you the support. And we were so pumped, Brad. We were like, yeah, fuck, these guys have just got back from the US, man. This is fucking awesome. All ages gig. And we got down, they had a huge green room for us. We had our own band room. We had drinks, food. There was like a platter of food. It was fucking wild. We had bottles of water. They were kind of gay. That was pretty shit. After they changed the Mantissa, they were really shit. Anyway, they had an adoring bunch of kids, fans into them, because they were doing really well. And we opened for them, and everybody just stood there with their arms crossed going, what the fuck?
Oh, no.
But the band, we saw them at the back of the venue getting into it going, this is cool. So we thought, well, you're not going to get this opportunity again because we don't fit. So let's just, while they're playing, break into their band room.
Oh, no.
And shake up all their cans of Coke.
Oh, God.
In the slab. Because, what else are you going to do? So we did. We broke into their band room while they were playing. And the irony was, this dumb cunt in this band, between every song, he was telling all age kids, drop out of school, take drugs. And it's like,
that's what I used to do too.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, fucking Jim Morrison did this fucking 40 years ago, you wanker. This is not, like, I don't know. Do you think you're being cool? You're a wanker. So I guess that's what happened. They went to America and came back wankers. But we shook up all their cans of Coke in the band room while they were performing. And I'll never forget the sound afterwards when they went in there and all of them must have cracked cans at the same time. And you could just hear... and they came out looking for a cleaner.
Oh,
and we were in our band room just sniggering away. We thought we were the funniest motherfuckers. Anyway, what was worse, because we kind of like these guys, like even though we just shook up all their drinks. When they came out at the end of the gig, they were surrounded by young kids going, all these girls screaming, total jailbait. The singer was such a wanker. He got up on the car. They played their own music in the car stereo, and he did air guitar swinging his head on the bonnet of the car.
No.
Man, I just lost faith in all things rock and roll. After that,
we did the Tea Party's very first tour, and when they came to the Sioux, and we used to play Club Princess. That was our club. We played there every second Saturday. But all of a sudden, we get there, and they said, "No, you can't use the dressing room." We're like, "What the fuck? That's our dressing room." So they had taped it off, and they had a security guard standing out front, and we weren't allowed to go into our dressing room. It had showers. It had a place we called the Pothole, where we would go into this little room and smoke joints and stuff, and they wouldn't let us in there. So I'm on stage, and I start yelling, Lead Doors are coming up next, because they sounded like the Doors back then. And everybody made fun of them all the time, and their manager came on stage and started yelling at me and pushing me, and I almost got into a fist fight with their manager on stage. And then Jeff, the singer, came out, and I started yelling at him, calling him a goof and everything else, and almost got in a fight with him. And he's like, "You're never going to do anything in Toronto. You guys will never make it in Toronto. I'm going to make sure I ruin your name in Toronto." And we get to Toronto, and we sell out every fucking club we play. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Oh, he was such a prick. I hated his guts. And I still think
tell us how you really feel.
And I still think the Tea Party sucks. I know that some friends of mine are friends with some of the guys in the band nowadays, but I still think I'm not a fan of the Tea Party. They were a Canadian band that got really famous, but they were very retro, very Doors sounding. They weren't very good. There were other bands that were better.
All right, so we're talking wanker stories with big bands. Why not? Now, this isn't I didn't play with Metallica, but I've always been I've always wanted to do media and stuff. When I was in high school, I started a fanzine and got to interview bands like Creator and Slayer and all this stuff over the phone with America. Anyway, the Metallica's record label got me an interview with Metallica when they came out here for the first time. In, was it 1991? 89, sorry, when they came out. In 1989, I'm pretty sure they came out for Justice for All tour. It was the first time in Australia. And I really wanted to do this interview. Anyway, through my school, because I was doing this fanzine through my school, they helped me get in contact with the record label, and they organised an interview with Metallica. Anyway, a day before the interview, the pin got pulled. And I was like, fuck, man. I've already told so many people I'm going to interview Metallica. And me being me, I hate leading people on like that, so I had to find a way to do it. Anyway, so I sat there. They were actually in Adelaide playing, and I was in Melbourne, and I knew they were coming to Melbourne to play the next day. So I started ringing hotels around Melbourne and just saying, g'day, it's Peter, whatever. Just made up a name. I'm just trying to find out what time Metallica get in from Adelaide tonight. And I just kept doing this until I got through to the Southern Cross Hotel, and they fully just went, they'll be in at 3 a.m. And I went,
oh, nice.
What? Did that just happen? So I was only like fucking 17. So I ended up getting in a cab, going all the way into the city and hanging out at the hotel until they got in at 3 a.m. And they got in at 3 a.m. And I thought, who am I going to ask? So anyway, I played my story as they all came through one by one. And they were kind enough to say, we'll do an interview in the morning. And they asked the hotel if I could sleep in the foyer. And I did. I slept in the foyer. Anyway.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So the first one up in the morning was Jason Newsted. And I hung out with Jason Newsted at the bar, and we did a little interview. It was really cool. He's a super nice guy. Obviously, he's not a wanker. The next person I got to hang out with was Lars Ulrich. And Lars Ulrich was like, we'll walk and talk. And he took me to HMV Records. And he bought such a wanker, man, such a wanker. I'll never forget this. Goes in, fucking buys every Angels album on vinyl. And it's just like, you are trying so hard to like Australia. Shut the fuck up. And he made a big deal of it. He went to the counter and he's like, I've got every Angels album. So that was cool. He did a little interview
Angels
with me.
are a famous Australian band, I'm taking it. Yeah, I don't know who they are.
So that was cool. And then James Hetfield came down about an hour after that. And me and him walked to Metal for Melbourne Records. And we hung out there and he gave me a really good interview. That was really nice. Anyway, we're getting to the last bit of this story. Hey, G-May.
Hey, G-Man, what's up, buddy?
G, Soggy Pants Man, and Falcon Blueser.
Hey, Falcon
Gary
Blueser, right
Hubbs.
on. Hubsy, great to see you. And thank you, Lori, for getting that hoodie. I hope you like it. It's silky, isn't it cool?
It's silky. And Feisty Feather, hello.
Feisty, great to see you.
So
Lovely.
anyway, the last person I wanted to meet was Kurt Hammett. And so
I always liked him. I thought I found him sweet.
Unfortunately, the time he told me he was going to come down and hang out with me didn't happen. So I just kept waiting and waiting, and it got really late, and it was getting like 3 hours before their gig, and I had to get down to the gig. And then he finally comes out because he's leaving for the gig. Turns out he'd had a really big fight with his wife.
Oh.
And as they were coming out the hotel, they were still fighting. And I stupidly had my camera and went, "Hey, Kurt, do you have time to do this interview?" And he turned around and looked right at me and went, "Get that fucking camera out of my face, man!" And look, most people would have been really upset about that. And all I could do was just laugh my fucking head off. It was the most unthreatening, weak, wet paper bag threat.
He's not a very threatening guy.
It was like fucking paper blowing in the wind. Leave me alone. It was like that leave Britney alone shit. I just fucking was like, dude, get into your car, mate. I wouldn't want to make you cry, you poor little fucking lightweight. Man, the such a fucking whiny little prick. But there you go.
Yeah, I slept outside to get tickets for Injustice. There was only one shop, Mr. Disc, that was selling tickets for Metallica in the States at Charlevoix, the castle in Charlevoix. So we slept outside on the sidewalk in a cardboard box to get tickets that went on sale at 8 a.m. the next morning. There must have been 200 people laying out there all night long waiting to get tickets. But we got tickets. We got to go to the show. It was an awesome show. Seeing Metallica for the first time. Everybody's got to see Metallica once in their lives.
Yeah, you got to.
Even if you're not a metal fan, and I'm not like a big metal guy, but
just take earplugs.
You know, I liked Kill 'Em All and I liked Master of Puppets. So, and at that time, Injustice was really new, so I didn't really know much about that record, and went to the show and just fell in love with everything they did. I loved it. And then I didn't like them after those two, Load and Reload, but I like that Saint Anger record. Everybody hates it, but I like it. I like it. I don't know why. And I love the Lula record, or Lola.
Oh, really? Come on, man.
Love it.
That is the worst record.
It's one of my favorite
time.
records. It's got Lou Reed on it, and I love Lou Reed.
Man.
It's just great poetry, great music in behind. They did a great job on that album. It gets shit on so hard.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love it. I love it.
I did an interview with Henry Rollins, and he smashed the fuck out of my co-interviewer.
Oh,
he punched the fuck out
yeah,
of me.
you told me about him.
Yeah, because like
He asked about Black Flag.
We didn't know that asking about Black Flag was a no-no. We were just, we just didn't know. Well, I kind of knew, but he didn't. And his first question to Henry Rollins, the interview was so dodge. Like he wanted to go down a laneway to make himself look tough. This was on the Rollins tour for that big album he had, his solo album. I forget what it's called. Anyway, we went down a laneway to do the interview. And yeah, my mate's first question was, so do you think Black Flag will ever do a reunite? And he just looked at him and just threw a punch at him. And I'm like, oh, well, there goes that. Fucking down a laneway, my friend getting punched in the head by Henry Rollins.
Yeah, apparently Greg Ginn's an asshole. Apparently nobody wants to work with him. Like I've heard Keith Morris and other guys that were in Black Flag over the years all say Greg Ginn is just a complete difficult guy to work with, a complete asshole. And Rollins is actually the level-headed one out of that duo. Greg Ginn is apparently just a loser.
like you hear these stories about big acts and stuff, and I don't think it's that anyone's really an asshole. I just think that everyone has days when they're an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like we're all assholes. We can all do things that are fucking shit. So
Depends on what
whenever
day
you
you
hear
get
these
someone.
stories, I don't think you should take any of this as gospel as these people
Other
are
than
cunts.
the story about the Tea Party, they're cunts.
Oh, they're cunts to you.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah, fuck those guys. But you know, everybody has bad days, and I know I've had terrible days. What about groupies, Brad? Have you had groupies that you can't get rid of?
Yeah, lots. Dustin never mind that name. So two guys
no
in my
names,
band.
no names.
Two guys in my band lived in the van for a summer while they worked at a golf course because we were touring all the time. So they would get they had bendable hours. They could work when they were there and not work when they weren't. So they ended up spending a summer sleeping in our tour bus. We had a little school bus that we converted into a tour bus. So they were sleeping in there, but they had these two groupies that lived in an apartment. So they parked the bus in the apartment parking lot and would all use their shower in the morning to shower and sleep with them and, you know, do all that stuff. But they lived there for a whole summer out front these girls' apartment and would just shower there every single day. And I had one that wouldn't leave me alone for years, and I saved all of her messages, and she went under 100 different names to get a hold of me, and it annoyed me for years. She tried to kiss me while I was sleeping. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get away from me, man!" I wasn't having it. I wasn't attracted to her. I did not, and I wasn't in any shape to be starting a relationship with anybody. So I didn't want to have anything to do with it. So I made that very clear, and she wouldn't take no for an answer and just kept bugging me years after year, and just went on for years.
It's hard, isn't it? Like, we had a chick who followed Despised, and she only followed him because she wanted me. And I wasn't interested in her. I got a girlfriend. Most of the time I was in bands, I had a fucking girlfriend anyway.
Yeah,
so, you know, but this chick, she'd come to every fucking gig. And she was under 18. She was like 17, I think. Maybe. Or she was just on 18. She was getting into over 18s gigs anyway. So, and she'd always come up after gigs and just stand near me and fucking googly eye at me, and I'd be like, fuck off, man. I got no interest in you. And you know when they will fuck someone else in the band just to get closer to you?
Yep.
That's what she did. She fucked the drummer, and he brought her home, and then it was like she started turning up in our rehearsals and stuff, and it was like, fuck, man. It's bad enough when she turns up the gigs and fucking stares at me, and now she's like, clearly she's only fucking you to, like, if you can't, like, we all saw it. And she was now in our space, and she would turn up at our fucking parties and stuff, and it's like, fuck, man, get rid of this bitch. She's a fucking annoying cunt. And so our drummer, I'm not going to say his name, got rid of her. And then one of the other dudes, one of our roadies fucked her. And so she kept coming around there as well, too.
Jesus.
And then another guy who was friends with the roadie, he fucked her as well. And so within about 2 months, she'd just become the pumped up party pig that everybody had to go on. That's what we used to call the pumped up party pig. And yeah, it got to a point where one night I was in a drunken rage. Fucking lost my shit at our house and went, get this fucking bitch out of here. I fucking had enough of her hanging around. She's fucked everyone. Who the fuck is she? Get her out of the band. Get her out of here. And we ended up putting her in a cab and sending her home. And it was really traumatic for her, I think, because I was really psycho. And I grabbed her and threw her in a cab and threw her bags in, and she never came to another one of our fucking gigs.
That's how I ended up meeting my last girlfriend. She came backstage and I came back, and I didn't like people backstage before we played. I liked people backstage after so we could party. But
before.
So I went back there and there was a whole group of girls backstage, and I pointed them all out and I said, you, and you get the fuck out of here until we're done playing. Go now. And she said that was the first interaction she had with me, and she fell in love with me, and then we ended up dating. But she was also with everybody in the band, and then, you know, we all, yeah. And then I ended up dating her.
Man, the bike is the worst fucking group.
Yep.
I swear to God. They will just fuck anyone just to hang around. It's fucking gross. We're going to play a song from the InnerCity Surfers.
This is a little preview of what's coming up on August 5th. April 5th.
Well, tell us more about this track.
This is a 10 Commandments. This is a song we do near the end of the show where everybody sings along, and it's a live performance, so it's a little bit wild. And some people start chanting "Oi" and they're out of time, but you'll see what an InnerCity Surfer show is like.
And we're hoping that all the footage of Brad is from the top up, because of his clothing situation.
Yeah,
just don't say the word because the algorithm.
Yeah, just keep your eyes closed.
Let's do it.
This is why the band never did break up. You discuss things. You should talk about your shit.
Yes. Just curious. Okay.
That's all bullshit.
I figured that was the case. Absolutely. Then I was like, maybe it's just a really good.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
Lop, you guys know this one? I make the fucking rules, right?
Fuck these guys. There you go.
So make the fucking rules. You place in your balloon. That's the thing that I'll do. Fuck you for I go. God, you must believe. M16 in me. I am your knowledge. That's all you be. can still fucking enjoy the nice things in life. So let's enjoy them together.
Okay, this is it. Lock. You guys really do make the fucking rules. As loud as you can. Top of your fucking lungs. It's your last chance. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I make the fucking rules. I make the fucking rules. I make the fucking rules.
I make the fucking rules. I make the fucking rules. I make the fucking rules. I make the fucking rules, baby.
Hey.
That was a different one than I thought it was, but it was still cool.
Who makes the fucking rules, Brad?
Yeah, I make the fucking rules.
Really? That's true. He does make the fucking rules. I've lived with him for 3 weeks, and boy, is he a bossy cunt. Fucking hell.
Pass my coffee.
Yeah, you are a fucking bossy. I remember I cut my, this is no shit, I cut my finger open, and Brett, I can't remember what you asked me to do, but you're like, can you go get me this thing? And I'm like bleeding everywhere. I'm like, can I fix my finger first? Am I allowed to go get a band? You're just like, can you go get that coffee thing for me? I'm like, fucking go fuck yourself.
I meant after.
No,
I didn't mean
after.
now.
Yeah.
I never mean now. I mean when you can.
Right, when I can, but you need to say that so I know. I'm telling you this now. We got half an hour left, folks, of talking shit here today. I'm just going to get this one done. I'm just going to get with this one out. This is one of my favourite stories. So there used to be this venue here. I think it still exists. I'll do a quick search for it. If you're in Melbourne, you'll know this venue. Sarah Sands Hotel. So this is a really big venue here. It's been around for a very, very long time. I'm not even sure if it still exists. Here it is here, the Sarah Sands Hotel. It's in Brunswick. Looks like it's up for sale there. So there you go, the Sarah Sands Hotel. This was a pretty big venue back when I was growing up. We played a lot of fucking gigs here. They had metal gigs there. It was really cool. You actually got paid. So that was cool. Getting paid was really nice. But over the years that I'd played there, I always liked to do off the cuff shit. I always wanted to stand out. That's just my thing. And in Despised, for some reason, because nobody knew where to play us in Melbourne, they'd always just lump us into these shows. Anyway, we got booked at the Sarah Sands. We got offered $200 to open for a cover night. And this was the lineup. Fucking Megadeth cover band, Metallica cover band. It was what was the other one?
I got a similar story to
Machine Head. I think it was something. No, Sepultura. It was Sepultura cover band, Metallica cover band, and fucking Megadeth. And we were the opening band. And I fucking hate cover bands. At that point, I really hated cover bands because they were taking up so much time. They were just not giving original bands. It was bullshit.
Yeah, there was a time I hated cover bands too. They were making all the money.
It's called the Wild Geese Hotel. No more bands. It's an Irish pub. Well, that makes sense. Anyway, so we took this gig because, hey, it's $200, whatever. And I've always been a collector of costumes and stuff. You see my Darth Vader costume. And at the time, I had a Stormtrooper costume. And I would mix and match these costumes. Anyway, we did this gig. And all the way through the set, me being me, in between every song, I'd be like, yeah, but like we're not as shit as Metallica, are we? And a jab at Megadeth and a jab at Sepultura. And I just kept jabbing fucking cover bands and saying terrible shit in between songs because that's me. And I'm fucking not going to stand by and let cover bands fucking take everyone's money. Anyway, little did I know that this had riled up the owner of the venue, and he'd been watching the show, and we all had Stormtrooper masks on at one point, and I at the end of the show said, fuck Metallica, fuck Megadeth and fuck Sepultura. They suck balls. And I just got on with it and didn't think anything else for the rest of the night and just hung out. Anyway, the worst thing happened. Our drummer got really drunk. They kept serving him booze, and these days they would not do that. So they kept serving him fucking booze. So much so that he was so drunk that he tried to walk behind the bar and take one of those fucking huge, like 3-liter fucking Bundy things off the wall that's attached to a tap. The things are like this big. He just walked behind the bar, took it off, and put it under his shirt in front of everybody, and then walks out from the bar, and the whole pub was watching him do it, and I missed it, but then somebody told me, oh, fuck, the drummer tried to steal a fucking bottle of booze from behind the counter, and I'm thinking, oh, just a bottle of Jim Beam. No, the fucking huge fucking thing that's on the tap.
I used to do that all the time when I drank a lot. I used to, at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd order 4 pitchers, and I would stick 2 pitchers under my shirt and go out and leave the bar with 2 pitchers and head to the party that was on after the bar with 2 jugs of beer under my shirt. Spilled everywhere, all over my pants, all over the cab, all over whoever's car I was in. Sometimes I was in their trunk. I'd have to go in the trunk. Oh, lots of crazy times. But there was this one
Hang
show.
on, I'm not finished.
Sorry, I thought you were
Fucking
done. Sorry.
Hell, Jesus Christ, it's got a punchline. Oh. Anyway, so later on, I found out this has gone on. He gets kicked out the pub, and they're outside. But unbeknownst to me, I'm still inside. Then I find out, the drummer got kicked out with all his entourage. So they're all outside. Meanwhile, the cops got called for a separate reason. And unbeknownst to me, while the cops are inside, these fuckheads in my band and his mates realised the cops left their car door open. So they broke into the cop car and took a police jacket and a police hat. And so I knew nothing about any of this. I'm inside doing the boss of the band bullshit, you know. Anyway, so on top of the owner already being pissed with me, then our drummer trying to steal alcohol, then the cops roll up, which had nothing to do with us. By the end of the night, everyone's outside. I try and get the money, and the owner of the venue goes, come with me. He walks me to the back of the venue with a security guard. I'm like, this is weird. Takes me out to this back room and then grabs me by the throat, throws me against the wall, and starts punching each side with my head in the middle going, stupid motherfucker, don't fuck with me. And my head's in the middle going, what the fuck is going on, man? What have I done? And then the bouncer comes, throws me down to the ground, and and the owner of the venue grabs the money and goes, now get this piece of shit out of my venue. They drag me out. Another security guy comes, drags me out to the fucking front of the venue.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, our drummer's at the door trying to get back in, so maggoted, he can't even speak English. And so the owner gets out with me. He's holding the $200 cash in his hand, and I'm just trying to get the money to get the fuck out of there. And our drummer breaks free of his mates and runs up and goes, this place is a fuckhole and you're a faggot. And I'm like, dude. So we didn't get paid. And and then as we're on the way, not only did we not get paid, fucking one of the fuckheads got charges. And then as we're driving home, there's a fucking policeman's jacket and a hat in the fucking car as we're driving home. And I'm just like, motherfuckers.
Wow.
Can't we just play a fucking gig? Like, let's just play a fucking, no drama. Stop drinking, you fucking animals. Thank you so much, Laurie, for the super chat. And so before we go into Brad's story, there's a finale to this. So anyway, the pub got shut down. It turned out the guy who ran the place was dodgy. He'd owed heaps of people money. Everybody knew about it. What happened to me became news in the independent press. So it became a thing that I got assaulted by the owner. And then all of a sudden, the owner fled Australia or fled Victoria. They put padlocks on the fucking door. And so the revenge for me was that the place got shut down because I was campaigning really hard against this cunt. He was a piece of shit. And the irony was that the place got shut down, closed, done. He was on the run. His lawyers were dodgy. All this shit just came out that this dude was dodgy as fuck. Give me a second here. And all of this happened right about the time, if I can find it. Where are we? Come on, Jade. Is it that one? All of it happened. Oh, man, it's not going to show up. Let's just do this. Dread Circus. Sorry, I would have been more organised for this, but... not Dread Circus. What am I looking for? Despised. All of this... Oh, get the fuck out of here. All of this happened on the day that we released our demo, which had a track about this cunt.
Oh, wow.
Called Downfall. And I'm going to play that track. It's really short. And it is probably one of the most extreme despised songs we ever wrote. I was so filthy on this cunt. I wanted to destroy this motherfucker. And just the irony of our demo cassette coming out pretty much one day in between him losing everything and being on the run from the police. So let's play this and see how it goes. Hopefully. Here we go.
Tearing away at me, trying to overcome, burning of history. Tearing away at me.
That was awesome. Fucking wild.
There we go.
That's
I don't think
crazy.
you can get that track anywhere anymore. It was a demo tape, so good stuff. Do you remember demo tapes,
crazy.
Brad?
Oh yeah, of course. We did tons of them.
Yeah?
Yeah, we did the first album we made. We sold a lot of them, and then the second record we made, I just found it about a month before I came here. when my sister was cleaning out my dad's house when he moved into the old folks home, she found a blank cassette that just said Room 206 on it. And it turns out it's the lost second record that we made that we never ended up mass producing.
Right.
Because we instead of mass producing it, we pooled all our money and moved the band to Toronto. So and then we re-recorded a few of the best songs at a better studio, and we were going to use that as our demo to get gigs and promote ourselves. So we ended up using that instead, and getting a girlfriend of mine, she kind of became our de facto manager and printed out all this stuff because she was going to business school for music management. So she got all these contacts and brought our tape out to everybody and a little bio and all the stuff you had to put together for packages back then, EPKs, back before they were EPKs. Now that back then it was just a folder and a little bio and a cassette and some trinkets and shit. We used to give away InnerCity Surfers rolling papers, and people loved those. We had great merch, little wine bottles that said InnerCity Surfers that you could stick to your fridge magnet wine bottles. People loved that shit.
I was going to ask something. My brain's just melted because that's the way it rolls.
Yeah, mine's melted today too. It's
what
just
about
crushed? There was this time we were playing
Yes,
at a university, and we had a residency at this hotel. We were doing a week at this hotel, but it ended on Friday night, and then Saturday night we had open. So we got booked to play the college in this town. So we get there, and our management at the time, who was this weird guy, got a hold of them prior to us going there because he's the one that booked the gig. And we get there and we're loading our gear in, and we see all these sheets of paper on all the tables, and it says InnerCity Surfers. Band does, and it would list like 6 Ozzy Osbourne songs, 6 Pantera songs, 3 Beach Boys songs, 5 Metallica songs. We're like, we don't play any of this shit. What the fuck is this? And it was on all the tables. We're like, well, I guess they're going to get what they get. I don't know what they're expecting, but whatever. Here we go.
Hey, Manny. Good to see you.
Hey, Manny. Good to see you, buddy.
In 2001, my band, FMC, we raided a record label. We raided a record label called Roadrunner Records. They just opened up a new facility, a new office here in Melbourne, Australia. And we decided to go to their office unannounced and take a video camera and totally fuck with their minds. And it was so much fun that it got media coverage. I got some of the video of it here. This is us. We're like downstairs at the moment preparing to go. Look at these costumes. We put a lot of work into these costumes. What this dude's wearing here was found in the bin. In the bin downstairs. Let me see if I can get to. Here we are. So here we are in all of our costumes downstairs. We found this cardboard box in the bin. They had a huge dumpster, and we went dumpster diving. There's me there. There's Chainsaw Charlie, DJ Uncle Brian. And that's upstairs. That's Roadrunner Records. We're about to go in there and totally fuck with these assholes' minds. We had a reputation of being one of the most disturbing, fucked up losers in look. So we're looking good here. We're looking really good. And we went in. We went into the venue. Here we are going up the stairs. And we're like announcing ourselves. We're coming up, Roadrunner. We love you, Roadrunner. We're coming. See, we even had this cassette recorder playing this hip-hop beat. We've got Rubber Chicken strapped to us. Hey, thank you so very much, Seven Dust, for the gifted memberships. You rock. So we got in here, and these motherfuckers were so befuddled. They had no idea what the fuck was happening right now. And so we had a promo pack for them. We had this promo pack that had like a perfume called Uncle LeBry, who's our drummer, Uncle Brian. And they didn't know this, but we had emptied out the perfume and put piss in it. And to watch one of the dudes from Roadrunner in the office spraying our urine onto his neck, let me tell you, it was one of the most gratifying things I've ever done.
That's funny.
As a rock and roll artist. We just rolled in and talked a load of bullshit, and then we left, and then we proceeded to go downstairs, rummage through their bin on camera, and then we decided to to beat up a dead fish with a baseball bat. There's the fish.
Oh, God.
And they're all watching from the window in terror as we go ahead and beat up a fresh bought fish with a baseball bat while we dance around it. Possibly one of the stupidest things I've ever done in my entire life, but you know what?
It got your attention.
It got media.
Yeah.
It got us media, and that's all we gave a fuck about. These are the things you got to do when you're desperate for people to pay attention to you in the music. Did you do anything crazy like that to try?
Nothing.
You
No.
must have done some kind of promotion to get people to pay attention to you.
No, we just played and gave away rolling papers, and we're known as being super hammered all the time. So even when the guy
Right.
from Jägermeister, the representative, came, we didn't know it was him. So we were buying him shots of Jag all night long. He gets in the car with us. We're driving. The cops pull us over. We're all drunk. We're all smoking joints in the car, drinking straight out of the bottle. This French guy in the middle, who we didn't know at the time was with Jägermeister, goes, "You guys are fucking crazy." And he jumps out of the car and runs after, like, when the cops come, he runs through the bush and escapes. The next morning, we got a phone call from the guy saying, "Come down to Jägermeister office. We have a deal for you guys for the InnerCity Surfers to be a Jägermeister band." And so we ended up signing with Jägermeister and getting all this free shit. And they took care of all our merch. They took care of everything, merch, flags, like all the things you put up behind you. All kinds of shit. Free Jägermeister. We even got a Jäger cooler that you put the bottles in that pours shots, cold shots. Like, they gave us everything. We got everything. It was amazing.
It's funny. We wanted a sponsorship from Fisherman's Friend, cough lollies.
Yeah, Dustin used to eat a ton of those.
Man, they're vile. But we just thought it'd be so cool to have a Fisherman's Friend sponsorship.
Yeah, Dustin used to eat those before every show. He would eat them.
Yeah, the most horrible cough candy ever would be the best thing to... Brad, why were you naked on stage?
I had a problem with a guy growing up that said that anything I did, any songs that I wrote would be attached to a time because of the clothes I wore. So I thought to myself, well, then if I play naked, then my music can't be attached to a certain time. So then I started playing naked. Because I hated that guy. I still hate him. To this day, I creep his stuff all the time, and I still hate him.
So your videos wouldn't go out so they'd still look current.
Yeah, so you could, so it would just be any time.
Wow.
The music would fit at any time.
Wow.
Because I was naked. I wasn't attached to the fashion of a certain day or a certain age, you know?
And I thought it was because it was easy access after a gig.
It was all of those things. And there's always, and that's the thing, is there's always, at any party, it's always funner if there's a naked guy at the party.
Right.
So I wanted to be that naked guy at the party. So I was the naked guy at the party. I would just take all my clothes off and walk around, and I didn't give a shit. And the party was always way more fun. People loosen up. They get more.
They got no choice, do
Yeah,
they?
they have more. They have more fun. All of a sudden, there's a naked guy standing there.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have more fun.
Yeah. Do you reckon you would do it these days?
Yeah, I would.
Wow.
Yeah. But the only problem is we're gonna stream these 2 shows that we're doing. We're going to try and stream them onto YouTube, so I can't get naked on YouTube.
Right. I mean, it depends where the camera's, the position of the camera is.
Yeah.
If you've got it set so there's no way to see your goods, and I think
Yeah.
you'll be okay.
Yeah. Plus, it's for my buddy Al's wedding, so
You probably shouldn't be
Yeah, I'm
naked.
going to try and keep it classy.
Classy and Brad example.
As classy as it'll get anyway.
All class, no ass.
No ass.
What What about traveling overseas?
No, we never did. We
Never went
we had
overseas?
an opportunity to either do Europe or do the U.S. again, and we chose the U.S. again. So because we started to make a name for ourselves in the U.S., so we decided to keep dipping into the U.S. and play the U.S. more often instead of going to Europe to play. Because if we were going to Europe, it would be our first time and there'd be nobody there. But playing our second time in the U.S.,
Well, that's international.
there'd be people there.
It's not overseas, but it's
not overseas.
international still. So
yeah, so we started doing more shows in the U.S.
It's tough touring the US, isn't it?
Yeah, we
Because-
had to get our P2 visa and work
Yeah, yeah.
visas, and we ended up crossing, and they ended up becoming fans. So they never searched our van. We'd always sign discs for them and stuff, and give them shirts and merch, and all the customs agents. They all loved us, and we always got through real easy after the first time. First time was difficult, but after that, it was easy after that.
I always found it terrifying playing gigs overseas because you got to take gear. You got to take some gear at least a guitar. And, going to Thailand and taking guitars always fucking stressed me the fuck out, going to play gigs in Thailand. And when I went to the UK and had to take gear, I was stressed out to the max. I tell you, seeing your guitar go through the little rubber thing and disappear and go, oh, and you know that some cunt's going to pick that guitar up and just fucking throw it. Even though it's in a hard case, it's a fucking shit feeling. It's like letting
There
your
was that
bandmates
famous
fuck your
video
girlfriend.
that came out of United Airlines hates guitars. That
Yeah.
video that came out of the guy had it
'Cause
all
they
on
don't
video.
care.
They
They don't
broke
care.
his guitar and he got it all on video, filming from the window of the airplane. They were just throwing it around, and it was like a Martin guitar. It was like a nice guitar.
Hey,
They wrecked
Guzzo,
it.
Jenny,
Hey Jenny,
anyone else?
hey Guzzo, hey
and
Urban.
Studio 6+1.
Hey Studio 6, right on.
When I played in the US, I only played a handful of shows, but we kind of went on tour, went to Chicago and played in Minneapolis, and we played in a whole bunch of places. We went down the middle of America as well and played a bunch of places. I was lucky because I didn't need to take any gear when I did gigs in the US. The people I was staying with had so much gear, it was ridiculous. I could just borrow their stuff. How did you find American audiences, Brad?
I felt like they were 10 years behind Canada.
Wow.
Like they were playing like Smashing Pumpkins and Nirvana songs and stuff, and we were like, what the fuck year is this? Like it just felt like everything and all the bands in America, they do originals, but their originals sounded like 90s grunge. And we were like, yeah, that was a long time ago. This is now. What are you doing now? Yeah, it was weird. The playing in the States was really, really weird. We found the bands we liked the most that we got to play with that open for us, like bands that we didn't choose that ended up playing with us. We found the best bands that we heard all came from the East Coast of Canada, like New Brunswick, Moncton, New Brunswick, St. John's, all those, like all up and down the coast of the East Coast of Canada. Bands we played. There was one band we played with called the Sorries, and then we ended up playing with them every time we went to Halifax because we loved them so much. But they were so damn good. They were like Yola Tango. We thought, we just loved them. They were awesome.
I found different places, of course. Like in Minneapolis, I found to be closest to like Melbourne here because it was so cold. I went and saw so many death metal bands in Minneapolis while I was living in the US. And it'd be a Tuesday night. There'd be a bill with like 12 death metal, black metal bands all on this huge bill. And it was snowing and it was like minus 30 degrees. And it was packed. And I couldn't believe how many people were out of gigs in, it just reminded me of Melbourne so much because it's so cold here during winter that people still go out and watch gigs. They don't give a fuck how cold it was. But you could go out in Minneapolis and have stalactites hanging from your fucking nose and still people would be out on a Tuesday
We
night.
toured in winter all the time. We
Yeah.
toured it, and it was freezing. Like when you're in a bus, the bus doesn't heat up very well. It stays cold. You're in there with a jacket on, freezing, trying to drink as much as you can just to stay warm.
I love
Like
playing in
shots of
America.
whiskey, like, oh my God.
I love playing in America. It was
Yeah,
really
it was fun. Yeah, we had a lot of fun playing in the States. We had a lot of fun. Like there were some gigs that were just really memorable, and like playing on. There were a couple gigs that even me and Ivan Idea shared. We played the same clubs a couple times, church in Boston and place in New Hampshire. And like, yeah, we played a lot of really cool places in the States. We had a lot of fun, lots of fun.
Is there anything you've done at a gig that you regret?
Not really. Just I say a lot of shit. Like I got up there, as soon as the mic is in my mouth, I start saying crazy things. So I'd say shit like, you know, I'm going to come to your house and fuck your girlfriend and drink your beer and do all your blow and stuff like that. And sometimes I'd feel bad after for saying some of the things I said, you know, calling people out in the crowd like you're hot or whatever. And I'd feel bad after, but not really. Nothing major.
The thing I regret was an FMC gig, and we had this competition where we asked people in the crowd to put their hands up who will come on stage and do something really fucked up for a prize. And we didn't tell them what the thing was they had to do, and we didn't tell them what the prize was. And so we did it and was like, anybody want to come up on stage and do something fucked up? Obviously, we look like how we look and what we do, so it's going to be something fucked. And a guy came on stage, and what we did, we got him to lay down on the stage and open his mouth, and he had to let me spit inside his mouth and swallow it. And that's not the part I regret, because he did it, and it didn't affect me, but he swallowed my own spit. And but we didn't tell him what the prize was that we'd organised way before. Earlier in the day, the prize actually was we went and got a little bottle of orange juice, drank the orange juice, and then I took the orange juice bottle into the toilet and took a shit inside it.
Oh, no.
And then we filled it with water, put the lid on, and then we had these little labels we'd made that was called Bowels of the Earth.
Oh, God.
And that was the prize. And so the guy ate my spit, and then he got up, and our bass player handed him this little bottle with a piece of my shit in it. And the guy just looked at it and was like, what's this? And we were like, something good. And then he walked off stage, and then we went back and kept playing the gig. And later on that night, all of us just mid-conversation while playing pool went, I wonder where the Bowels of the Earth has gone. I wonder if he took it home. And we couldn't stop thinking about it. What if? And then we started making up stories that maybe he put it on his mantelpiece. Maybe his girlfriend got in a fight with him because she wanted it more than what he wanted, and then they argued over it. And as we were packing up our gear at 3 a.m. and loading our gear into the cars, there it was, sitting in the gutter all by itself, still in its bottle.
Thank God.
And so, yeah, he rejected our gift. I thought it was, but I regret doing that because, you know,
fucked up.
What if he had have drank it or something?
Oh, God.
That could have come back to get me in trouble legally. So, anyway, there we go. There's some stories. You got anything you want to close on?
No, nothing. Thank you for having me in Melbourne, Jade. I really appreciate it.
It's all right. You're back here tomorrow.
Yep.
So, folks, let's run through what's coming up. I hope you've enjoyed this little series that we have slapped together with not a lot of thought. This is just trying to remember shit pretty much early in the morning. Thank you, 31 people hanging out. Thank you for all the people who donated today's Super Chats and memberships. You know who you are. You guys rock. Thank you for that. This will be demonetized straight away. At the end of this show, it'll be put up to R-rated because of, YouTube. What do we got coming up today? So it is the Human Centipede Entertainment Day today, Friday, Human Centipede Train. Coming up after this, we have Guzzo of Oz. Hello. Did I say hi to you?
Hey, Guzzo.
Coming up, Mr. Smith and Valerie Butt. They are doing a stream together probably in a couple of hours, I think. Yeah, 10. So in about 2 hours' time from now. And then after that will be Sunshine Archer and Pole Vault. They'll be doing their weekend warm-up. And after that will be Laurie's Mishmosh over on the Laurie's Mishmosh channel. She's doing a tribute to Australia today. And you may see me and Brad because we're heading out. We're getting ready to head out and meet some people. We're going to be at an undisclosed location, having a few drinks, and we're going to stream live into Laurie's show. So if you want to see us all pissed out of our brains and making foolish mistakes, on Laurie's channel. Good God, Laurie, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You shouldn't
I
be
don't know
doing
if you thought this through, Lori.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea, but we're going to be responsible.
Yeah, we'll be good.
And then after that, Gary Hubbs is live at the
Hubsy.
usual time doing his
It's
usual
great
shit.
watching Hubsy and Leela from Melbourne because at home I got to get up at midnight. So I go to bed at 8 and I get up at midnight so I can catch Lori and Hubs. So
Well,
here
we're going to
it's
be
in
at
the
the
middle
pub.
of the afternoon.
We're going to be at the pub.
Yeah.
So we're going to be watching from the pub. I'm going to bring my iPad so we can watch it on my iPad on a bigger screen and all that. Then following, closing up the Human Centipede train of entertainment is, of course, Brad.
Leela, lovely Leela, meet a maid.
Leela, meet a maid. So the
Leelers.
the Leelaverse, it will be closing up the day of entertainment. Tomorrow there's lots of cool stuff too.
Which is always awesome. So tune into Leela because it's always a midnight chill. It's always really cool.
Absolutely, and tomorrow's no different. So Saturday for you guys in the US and UK. Pete Johns is doing something early. He's doing 5 years of the happy hour. So he's going to be doing a show talking about that for half an hour. That's going to lead into Thomas Christ. Thomas Christ into me doing the opening hour. Then Pete Johns is celebrating 5 years of the happy hour and then closing out with Brad live here in my studio in 1080p this time. We're going to do it in 1080p. And so that'll be Brad's last appearance here in Australia before he leaves the
On
following
Monday.
day.
Yeah.
So that is all happening the end of his trip. So thank you all for hanging out. And
Love you all. Thank you for indulging us with our crazy stories. And I hope you had fun.
Yeah, absolutely. This was just something to give me a break from doing Walk With Me while Brad was here. And then April 5th, I think, Walk With Me is back with the first episode documenting Brad's whole holiday fishing and all this stuff that we did. I'll be editing that over the next week. So that's all the stuff you need to know. I'm going to go out today by playing a really bodgy video that somebody shot of me playing in Minneapolis, doing a live performance in 2017, I think it was, 2016, I think it was actually. So this is in Minneapolis at a pub. I think I'm singing The Conundrum, and it's really terrible, I think. I've not watched it before, I don't think. So let's hope this is worth something. And we'll see you over at Smith and Valerie's, and then we'll see you later on at Laurie's thing. Thank you all so much. Remember, do the things that make you happy.
Mistakes make you better.
And we'll all rise together.
Stay awake.
And let's.
Oge.
Oge, baby.
What?